Hi, I'm Tommy. Welcome to another photo tip segment. This time we're going to learn how to take really effective panorama pictures. Panoramas are a good way to show all of the details of a scene at a very wide angle. They're also a good way to increase the effective megapixels of your image. If you have a 4 megapixel camera and you need a 6 or 7 megapixel image to make a huge print, you can take 2 pictures, stitch it together, and you'll end up with a file with a lot of resolution in it. This Christmas I went to a little town nearby called Canton, and they have a courthouse there that they decorate really beautifully at Christmas time. You may recognize it if you've ever seen the movie A Time to Kill. Anyway, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to shoot some pictures that we could do our panorama segment with. So let's go ahead and talk about technique. Use a tripod. It is possible to use to do it handheld, but use a tripod. Set the tripod perfectly level, and use the tripod to pan across your scene. Pick a spot in your scene that has a level place, like the horizon or the top of a building, or a street, or anything that you see that's level, because if you take a picture and it's skewed, your software is going to have a really hard time putting that together and making a nice picture for you. Today we're using Photoshop Elements version 4. Any of the Photoshop versions from 1 on up through the current version of 4 will work. There are some open source software packages to stitch panoramas together with, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't have very much luck with those. They're still a little immature. If you know of a good one, be sure to drop a line and let me know. We're going to start a new project, a photo merge panorama. We'll go and find our images that we're going to use. I took 2 sets of them with 2 images, so I'm going to use the last 2 here today. Go ahead and accept those, and it'll load them up and show you the representation of both images and try to stitch them together. If we zoom in a little, you see it did a pretty fair job, but it didn't quite cut it when it came to the flagpole and some of the surrounding areas of the picture. This is because I used a wide angle lens. There's a small courtyard there that I had to take this picture, and I couldn't get the entire courthouse in it. So I took one of the bottom half and one of the top half. I overlapped about 1/3 of my image. That's a good rule to remember, is your overlap should be about 1/3 of your image. Anyway, this software has a pretty neat tool called perspective control. If you turn that on and give it a second, you'll see that it makes an enormous difference. It made our flagpole, it joined our flagpole back together. If we turn on advanced blending and preview, it actually does our blending. If there's a minor exposure variations where your scene comes together, it'll actually blend that in really nicely. So let's go ahead and accept that. And the last thing we're going to have to do to actually be able to use this image is to crop, because when it does the perspective control, it kind of skews the sides of the image, and we can do a minor crop and take care of that. We're going to just crop out the parts that are not straight. Now we still have a piece of flagpole sticking in here, so you could take your clone tool or your rubber stamp tool and actually get that out if you wanted to. As you can see, it's pretty easy to make a nice panorama. The key to it is paying attention to the details when you take your pictures. Always use your camera on manual exposure mode when you can, if your camera supports it. Take your light meter reading off of a middle brightness area of the scene, and watch those lines, those horizontal lines, so your software can match everything up nicely. If you have variances in your exposure, you're not going to get good results. So anyway, stick to manual exposure. It's always the best. I hope you enjoyed this segment for this month, and if you know of any open source alternatives that make nice panoramas, drop me an email at tmartin@amateurlogic.tv, and I'll see about mentioning it in an upcoming episode. Likewise, if you have any ideas that you'd like to see on our photo tip segments, send me an email to the same address, and we'll see what we can't do about getting some of those on here for you. Anyway, until next time, we'll see you.